Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. My name's Afton and thank you for hanging out with me today. All right, the day has come. We are looking at all of my Oracle decks in my collection, with the exception of the Oracles that I have already shown in a previous video, which I think has mostly just been the Seasons of the Witch 8-deck series. So we won't be showing those today because I've kind of already gone over them already. But yeah, I am going to say first and foremost, prepare yourself for me saying over and over again that I don't use this deck. I don't use this deck. I've never used this deck. I've used this maybe once. Okay. So I don't use Oracle very often. It is a very rare day. And if I do use them, it's usually the Seasons of the Witch. So this is kind of an area where I am looking to make a lot of cuts out of my Oracle collection. And I think where I'm kind of at with this is because I don't use them so often, but I have been enjoying the use of them through the Deck Connectors Club. I think what I want to do is really curate my Oracle collection, get rid of anything that I don't use, and only keep a very selective few that I think are really special and that I will use. So I'm talking like maybe 10 is kind of what I'm thinking. I have about, I want to say maybe 30. I'd have to look up the exact number of how many I have, but I think there's going to be a lot going. So let's get started. Very first one that is not going anywhere. This one very recently came into my collection is the When Olga Speaks by Sasha Lopez. So this is the new Kickstarter edition. This is one that I hummed and hawed over. I followed the, so we have deck 325 out of 500 from the Kickstarter. I hummed and hawed over whether to back this or not. I think I backed it like just very last minute because number one, I very rarely use Oracle decks. So the thought of bringing another one into my collection, those are the backs, was like, why would you do that when you don't use them? But every once in a while, there is a deck that just calls to you and feels like it needs to at least be given a chance. And this was one. And I think it's because Sasha, created this in honor of her grandmother. And I recently, not super recently, but about 1.5 years ago, it'll be coming up on 2 years, lost my grandmother that I was the closest to. So all of my grandparents have now passed. And, I still think about my grandparents like probably every day, honestly. And, sometimes they just had the best advice. And I've used this a couple of times since I've gotten it. I've only had it for maybe 2 months at this point. But there is just something about it. And definitely when I did use it the first couple of times, I got a really lovely reading from it. So this one is not going anywhere. This is one that I will be using coming up. I'm not sure what deck that I want to pair it with, but yes, so that is When Olga Speaks. I'm not sure if she has any overstock. I believe she was going to be putting it on her website. If she did, it might be sold out now. I'm not sure, so go check it out if that is something that interests you. And I do have material for a bag. I just have not actually sat down and made it yet because I've been kind of busy doing these collection videos in my sewing space. So there hasn't been like room. I haven't wanted to take this setup down in order to actually sew for a little bit. So that's why it hasn't been given a bag yet. All right, next deck. This is the Crystal Forests Oracle. So this is by Jess Purser. This was also a Kickstarter. One of the very first Kickstarters that I ever backed, I want to say. So the idea with this is that each card has a picture of a forest on it, but it is in the colors of a certain crystal. So each forest kind of has something to say. And I did use this a bit last week, actually, again with the Deck Connectors Club. And I really enjoyed it. So I had forgotten that it actually did have a secondary keyword on it to help. And I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't use it for so long, because I thought it was literally just the crystal and then you would have to go into the guidebook, but you don't have to do that. I love that cover card. It's amazing. Unfortunately, I don't believe this deck is available anymore. She does have a slightly different version that is much more monochromatic, like black and white. And I don't know, it's kind of a similar idea, but I don't think it's, I don't think it's like it doesn't have the crystal part of it. It just is like a different, like the forest theme still, but then I think just with maybe another, like a different keyword on it. So you can see some of these are difficult to read. So there's like the gold title at the bottom here. And some of them, just the nature of it, the colors of the card is difficult to read, like Appreciated Jasper is what this says. And then it's, excuse me, Reparation. Ocean Jasper, Insight, Poppy Jasper, Expansiveness. So I have to like really tilt the card in order to be able to read that. So, but they are really lovely. I'm glad that I pulled this out. This one will not be going anywhere now that I have kind of rediscovered it. So that is the Crystal Forest Oracle. What next? This is the Illuminated Deck of Holy Souls by Lindsay Williams. This is the creator of the Desert Illuminations Tarot. So this is very colorful. We've got a beautiful gold gilding. This is shiny, but it's the really soft kind of gilding on it. So that's lovely. And it is a linen texture as well. So these are all of the different holy saints. And it also, which is really nice, has an actual like sentence or phrase below the saint or the archangel to kind of give you an idea of what's going on, so that you don't, there really isn't anything in this guidebook. So this one I got, I have not used this one at all. I don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon, because I think it is kind of more of a very specific oracle, like serves a very specific purpose. And I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to bring this into my practice yet, but we will get there. So I've had it since February, I want to say. So about a little over 6 months. But it's gorgeous. It was a little bit more on the expensive side, especially the shipping to Canada part. But overall, I'm glad I purchased it. I don't believe it's available anymore, unless she was going to do a French version. But then that was going to be the last of it. And I believe she's taking like a break from creating decks for a while. So that is the Illuminated Deck of Holy Souls. It looks like there is a QR code on here that I haven't looked at it to see. Oh, and this is kind of nice. It does tell you what all the Holy Souls and what they are associated with. So that's good to know. I hadn't actually really looked at that. Next up is my Reclaim Oracle. So this is one that I have gone back and forth on whether or not I should rehome it. This is an earlier printing. It's one that it has a misprint in the guidebook, so it came with a little sticky, so Pride was printed twice and it came with a little sticker that you can put over one of them. I haven't done this. I just kind of tuck it inside because if I didn't get it perfectly straight, I would be annoyed and it would bother me every time. But this is the one that still looks like it is almost like handwritten in the guidebook. I maybe used this once or twice when I very first got it, and I haven't used it since. This one is more along, like it's really shadow work is what you're doing with this. And I don't tend to do a lot of like active shadow work, like specifically like pull out these types of death and say, death, yeah, slip of the tongue there. So I don't tend to pull this out with the intention of doing shadow work. I always forget how many cards there are. Like there's tons of cards in here. It's got to be like close to 80. Like it might actually be 78. Does it say? 88 cards. And there is a new version of this available. Marion, the creator, did a Kickstarter a few months ago with a new updated edition, changed some artwork, added new cards. So I think there's actually like 100 cards in the deck. But yeah, I mean, this is amazing. I think I'm going to hang on to it. I don't think I'm going to get rid of it just because, I don't know, something about it is still calling to me. And again, maybe I will pull it out here as I'm doing some more work with my decks and like actively trying to use my Oracle cards. So that's where we're at with this. Those are the backs. I also do really like the size. Like it is a chunky deck, which is, you know, I wouldn't be able to shuffle this. Like I'd have to do this way. But I really like the size in terms that like it's a lot shorter than, you know, decks normally are. It's just, yeah, really nice, smaller size. It might actually be the same size or very similar to the Spacious Tarot. That kind of like same width, but then shorter than normal tarot size. So that is the Reclaim Oracle, which I'm sure most people are familiar with. I do kind of want to remake this bag. I, for whatever reason, left it in the box when I made the bag, but it's just too chunky. I didn't make it very well. It was one of the earlier bags that I've made, so that might get remade at some point if it for sure stays in my collection. Okay, this is the Kyle Gray Gateway of Light Activation Oracle. That is quite a mouthful. This one I got from Hay House directly when they were having, like, they usually have sales on their decks. And I think I used it once when I first got it, and then that was about it. This one I think I'm gonna let go. It has not called to me to use it. I do like that we've got the title and then also some other keywords, but overall, I don't feel like I need this deck. It's beautiful. I do kind of just in general like Kyle Gray decks, but yeah, I don't think this one needs to stay. I do feel like this one has a lot of like light codes activations in this. But yeah, it's, you know, like, so this says angel frequency, angels are here, you are safe, potent connection. That image to me though, like, that does not give me angel, right? Like, and I do work with some angel energy, and that it doesn't connect for me, the artwork to what the actual title and card is about. It doesn't really speak to me. So this one I think is gonna go. And I think what you'll find is that a lot of my mass market decks are what's going to go, and I will probably hang on to, excuse me, more of the indie oracles that I have. Rebecca Campbell's Ancient Stones Oracle. This is the only Rebecca Campbell deck that I have right now. I did have her, the Work Your Light and the Starseed Oracle, but I let those go a while back. This one's beautiful. I do like it. This one I might hang on to for a little bit still. I don't think I'm quite ready to let this one go. It is lovely. I do enjoy this style of collage. This isn't Danielle Noel. They haven't worked together for a few years, I think. But I do like this very like starseedy, lots of bright light and prisms and stuff. I enjoy the aesthetics of this deck. So we'll probably hang on to this for a little bit longer. I will probably try to work with this again with the Deck Connectors Club, and then we'll make a final decision. I think that's going to end up being what a lot of the ones that I'm kind of on the fence about, that's what I'm going to try to do, is actually use them and then make a decision on them. What else do we have? I think this is another Kyle Gray. Yes, this is the Angels and Ancestors. So we've got, you know, quite a chunky guidebook. Those are the backs. This one is beautiful. I have not looked at this for quite a while, but I think I like this better than the Gateway activations. I think this one is just a little bit more, it's more specific, which sometimes cannot be not a good thing. But this one I think will stay for now, and then maybe possibly go fairly soon. You know, it's also one of those things where, you know, if I let a deck go that's mass market, I know that I can get it again. So I will probably use this for like 1 week with the deck, again, a tarot deck, and then we'll see. But sometimes the test is to, like, if I just get rid of it, then maybe, you know, if I don't miss it, then, and here I am, I'm basically talking myself into just getting rid of it, because really, if I were to get rid of this, I haven't used it like at all, really, since I got it, maybe a few times. I don't think I'm gonna miss it because I haven't pulled it off the shelf. So you know what? No, it's probably going. It's probably going. We'll tuck it over there. All right. These are the Healing Code cards by Brad. What is his last name? Brad Johnson. He's Canadian. I think he's in BC. This was a discovery of like my mom's. She had found him, I think, just on like social media or YouTube or something. So all of these decks have this kind of like sacred geometry, and they're just meant for different, to promote healing and like activation of, you know, energy and the cells in your body. So this one is just the general energy deck, the body deck, and then this one's the mind deck. So, you know, you can use them different ways. I think probably if I were to use this, and I don't think I will, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get rid of these guys. You know, something that my mother has done is, you know, take a card and then, you know, place your glass of water over top of it and then drink the water, right? So doing it that way. I'm not going to worry about showing you guys. They're all pretty much the same. They're just like different colors around the borders there. So that's those. This is the Illuminated Earth Oracle. I bought this at the same time that I backed the Kickstarter for her tarot deck, the Rain Shadow Tarot. Beautiful, beautiful deck. Again, we only have one keyword, and we can see I have not used this at all because it is still in alphabetical order. I am not sure about this one. I've barely used her tarot, let alone the oracle. So again, yeah, I don't know. I want to say that I'm just going to rehome it, but then it's like I don't quite want to get the words out, because there are some like really cool keywords on here that you don't typically see, like evolution, but then like fire. You know, I do wish there were a couple more like extra keywords on here, because that's just how I roll. Like meander, how cool is that? Like these are beautiful. So we'll see. I'm planning on doing a video at the very end after I've gone through all of my decks, just to show you what I'm planning on rehoming, because I do already have a stack of decks sitting to be rehomed that I'm gonna leave. I won't show them in like my general collection here, because I know that they're going to be going out of my collection already. So I will show those at the end, and we'll see if this one happens to be in it. I have had this in the pile to rehome before, and it didn't get any takers. So then I kind of pulled it back out, put it back on my shelf. It is a very cool looking deck though, but realistically, am I going to use it? Probably not. So it's probably going to end up in the rehome pile, is going to be my guess. Okay, what next? Pull this one. So this is a Danielle Noel deck. This is the Ocean Dreams Oracle. Gorgeous. Love how the box completely opens up. This one is now available in a mini size, which I'm sort of tempted by, but also not. I think I would, if I had the mini, I think I would wish that the artwork was bigger on a larger scale. So this is the guidebook. So we have kind of a short explanation. We have kind of like a mantra almost. And then we've got like a transmission and illumination, she calls it. And then there's also kind of a question here, like for journaling, that you can use. So that's that. Gorgeous, like sea green edges. And this is in her typical, oh my goodness, what is the word I'm looking for? Signature, like rose petal. There are some cards in here that I really love. I don't think I'm going to get rid of this one. This is one that I'm going to hang on for a bit longer, because there are quite a few cards in here that I really, really like. It's just, it's stunning. This is one of them that I love. And again, her decks are just such a tactile experience. Like, as much as I complain about the rose petal, like being difficult to shuffle when it's in such a big, big card size and a thick deck, they're just so nice to feel. I love it. This one I have actually used a few times. Like, it's never one that I'm pulling a lot of cards from, but doing like a single card pull in the evening, like before bed with this, I find is really quite nice. I love that Abyss card. It's gorgeous. Yeah, so it is just when I'm in a very specific place, like very gentle, like before I'm going to bed, to just pull, you know, feeling that real like Lemuria Atlantis pull. This is the one that I think of to grab. And this is my absolute favorite card in the deck, hands down, is that Temple of Light. So that is Danielle Noel's Ocean Dreams. Again, available in the pocket size now as well. And that one is not going anywhere, for now at least. We'll see. Let's look at some of my little ones here. This is my Kali Oracle. This is the pocket size. So this is Alana Fairchild, I'm pretty sure. So we've got all of the artwork on the backs of the cards, and then on the flip side is the message. So I have used this a few times, but again, not a ton. I think I will hang on to it. I'm not going to rehome it, just because I still would like to do a little bit more like goddess work. And Kali is one that I do feel like I kind of connect to a little bit more. So this one I will be keeping. I just enjoy the fact that it's like all of these different aspects of Kali, because you know, she has many different shapes and forms. And yeah, so this one is not going to be going anywhere, I don't think. It'll stay for a little while longer. I also have it's an essential oil spray that is in her essence, or like in honor of her, I guess, from Amanda Ellis, who is, I actually have one of her Oracle decks that I'll show you towards the end here. Actually, you know what, let's just grab it right now. So this is Amanda Ellis, her Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery Oracle. So we've got a giant book, which is great. Her writings are fantastic. So Amanda Ellis is, she's on YouTube. She's like a spiritual teacher, if you want to call her that. And she channels a lot of divine ascended masters. And Kali is one of them that she has channeled. And then she creates these sprays, which I don't even have one of them up here to show you. But she creates these different sprays that you can use to connect to those different entities, or she has ones that are specifically for each chakra. So if you're doing chakra work, that kind of a thing. And yeah, so she has one for Kali that I do have, and it smells amazing. It is so good. But this is her Metatron Oracle. So Metatron is the main guide that she has, that she channels regularly. And so this was the result of that work. She also has a Christ Consciousness deck out as well. I don't have that one yet, but it's kind of on my list to get. But again, I think I haven't rushed out to get it because I don't really use oracles all that often. This one I am going to keep. So you can see we have the title here, and then also a little phrase or a few more keywords about what the card is about. And they are numbered. And she is very big into numerology, as well as color therapy. So she is usually very specific on like why that card is that number. And the artwork for this is by Jane Delaford Taylor. And I think it's beautiful. It's, yeah, it's one, again, I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to pull that out. And those are the backs. And she, like I said, her guidebooks are usually really good. She will do a channeling for each of them, for each entry. So you get a full page here, and then pretty much a full page here of channeled message for each card. Oh, look at that. We've got our Lady of the Lake there with Excalibur. All right. Pop that back in. And one of the reasons I haven't made a bag for this one, I think, just is because the book is so dang big. It's just easier to keep it all in the box that it came in. All right, another little oracle here. So this is the Seeds of Shakti Oracle. This is by Sharon Basanti, also Canadian. And you can see, so we've got lots of colors. We've got a main keyword for each card, and then as well as a little phrase, so that you don't actually have to use the guidebook, but the guidebook is pretty nice. Pomegranate, drum, and it's just, yeah, I don't know, it's just very simple, very clear, just very simple message. Would be nice to just pull like 1 or 2 cards from here. And yeah, this one I'm kind of feeling has done its time. I don't really feel a big pull to use this deck anymore. And so I think this is one that I will probably be rehoming, I think. So that is the Seeds of Shakti. Beautiful production quality though. So these are the backs. So they are dual toned. And then there is a gorgeous, like soft matte gold on the edges. This is in a Peggy bag. I will be keeping the Peggy bag though, because I love it. It's so pretty. All right, so if things look a little bit different, it's because my phone stopped recording because apparently I ran out of storage space and had to go in and delete some stuff. So it stopped recording. Luckily, I didn't get too far along before I realized that it had stopped recording. So we're going to kind of pick up where we left off. So this is the That Feeling When Oracle. This was a Kickstarter. I did not back the Kickstarter. I found out about it afterwards. So this was released a couple of years ago. So we've got these gorgeous, like, turquoise blue. There is some sparkle in there that I don't know if is picking up on camera. Lovely soft touch. And the idea behind this deck is that every card has that feeling when, and then there's like a situation or like a memory or something, and it's meant to evoke the emotion or the feeling that you had in that moment when you were in that similar situation. So for instance, we have that feeling when your plant baby makes a flower and you didn't even know it could do that. That feeling when ordering takeout with friends, you could eat whatevs except the first 100 suggestions. I think everybody's been in that situation. Yeah, and there are some that aren't necessarily like happy memories too. That feeling when a life journey reroutes. I mean, we all know how kind of traumatic that can be and how scary it can be. That feeling when the answer strikes the second you stop thinking about it. Yep, absolutely. So this is just really cute. This one is not going anywhere. I'm sorry, I don't remember what the author's name is. And yeah, it's on the box somewhere and I don't know where that is. Well, I know where it is, but I'm not going to go digging through stuff to find it. So yeah, this one, it might still be available. I got it out of like a retailer in Canada because I missed the Kickstarter. So that was handy. And this is one I also am using some of this. That wasn't the full deck. There are quite a number, like a decent number of cards. Like I want to say at least 40, maybe 44. But I do have some of them in my monthly envelopes. So that one is for sure staying. And then we have my Starseeker Oracle. So those are the backs. And yeah, these, this deck, you can see we've got the different color edges. So there are different suits in here. And will I be able to tell you off the top of my head what they are? No. We do have some that are like the teachers. So like maybe like archetypes. So that's what the purple orders are. And then there are a couple that have like a really, like a shiny, where is one? There's one. So I don't know if you can tell. So we've got like the holographic border for the seed. So let's just take a look here and see if it kind of outlines. So we've got the Seeker's Journey, which is cards 1 through 48. Then we have the guides, cards 49 through 60, and then the gifts, so 61 through 64. So that is how this deck is set up. And this is obviously meant as like a companion to the Starseeker Tarot, which I believe is now out of print, which is unfortunate because I love that deck. I think you can still get it from some, like she'll still do wholesale. I remember seeing some posts from Nikki Ferrata, is the creator of the deck. She had some posts on Instagram a while back asking if people wanted to, you know, have wholesale in their shops so that she could get some of her decks outside of the US so that they were more easily available. So that was an option. So if that's something that interests you, like if you have a shop, or you have a shop in your area that you think would like to carry her decks, you can get in touch with her. And yeah, this is a beautiful deck. I did use this with my last week with the Pagan Otherworlds, which is not a deck that I would have thought to like pair it in terms of like the artwork necessarily going well together, but it did actually read really well with that deck. So this one is definitely staying. It's beautiful. I love her art style. I just think it's really cool. It is very, like, you can tell it's very digital, but for whatever reason in this particular, her style, it doesn't bother me. I just think it's really neat. Yeah. So that is the Starseeker Oracle by Nikki Ferrata. She does have a new tarot coming out as well. It'll be a Kickstarter, I think, soon. And I want to say it's called The Shadows We Cast. So keep an eye out on Kickstarter for that. I'm really excited for that one. All right, what next? This is the Oracle Door. So OR, Odilon Radon. This is by Melissa Wotherspoon, also a Canadian creator. This one is not going to be staying, I don't think, in my collection. If I do, so I used this last week again with the Pagan Otherworlds. And I mean, yes, it's beautiful, but I find that it's just very dark, both like, the actual card, but also the guidebook, like the meanings that she's written out in the guidebook. They all very much lean towards the shadow aspect, and I didn't really get a whole lot out of it when I read the couple entries for the cards that I pulled. I ended up just using my intuition and going in a completely different situation, in a different direction when I used that. So yeah, I don't think this one's gonna stay. It's just not giving me enough. Even though it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the color palette. Like, those are the backs. Yeah, I think this one is going to be going. It's beautiful to shuffle. It is a rose petal, but not, like, again, super sticky. Nice flexible. Does a really nice bridge. So that part I really enjoyed, but yeah, I think it's just not going to stay, which is unfortunate. I really like the bag that I put it in though. The material is really pretty. So that one will be going, I'm pretty sure. I also have like the giant guidebook that came with it. I purchased it all as part of the 3rd edition Lonely Dreamers Kickstarter. So I got everything at a little bit of a discount. But yeah, that one, I think it'll be going. I'm like 98% sure that I'm gonna let it go. Okay, this is, what is this? This is the, oh, I probably shuffled it. Oh my goodness. What is this called? Where's the title card? So this is by Bouchette Designs. And what is this called? What is this called? The Wanderlust. There it is. The Wanderlust Oracle. And it's really more just informational cards. Kind of like a quick reference. So we have numerology. So you can see it kind of gives you like an idea of what each number means. We have Wheel of the Year and then cards for each Sabbath. We have the moon phases and what each of those kind of represent. There are colors. There are, specific types of full moons and what those mean. And then on the back side, there is like an explanation, like a bigger explanation. And then we've got some colors and what the color, like color therapy. And then we have the astrology signs. So that was just kind of a cool little, like quick reference guide. that she had available. I think it is still available. And I purchased this when I grabbed the Metanoia Marseille, the Kickstarter. She added this as like an available add-on, I think it was, or had it coming out. It was like she was going to be having it on pre-order, so then you could like add that pre-order to your Kickstarter. And I have it in a Moonlit Fae bag. This is the bag that was part for the Meraki Tarot, the 3rd edition. And I have since rehomed that deck, but I kept the bag because it's pretty, and I was like, perfect, I'll put this in it. So that was the Wanderlust Oracle. Let's see. So we've got another Danielle Noel deck. This is her mass market Dreamgate Oracle. So this is a box in a box. So we'll pull this out. This deck, I like it. Have used it a couple of times. Still follows like that same format as her like indie, like the Ocean Dreams Oracle that we looked at earlier. We've got our banner and, you know, some extra keywords at the bottom. So this one is, like I said, mass market, so widely available. Do I feel particularly drawn to use this one? No, this honestly might be another one that I let go of. It's beautiful. I mean, of course, all of her artwork is gorgeous. But I find too, I think she has some kind of, she's reused some of the same artwork in this deck that she has in some of her indie decks. So I just find it very similar to what I've already seen in the Ocean Dreams specifically. So yeah, I don't think I need both. I think if I just keep the Ocean Dreams, then that one is going to be enough. Because I really, again, I don't use Oracle enough to justify having 2 of her Oracle decks that are very similar. So this one, yeah, is probably going to be rehomed. Tuck it back in its tuck box. It is a very nice presentation though, like in terms of like mass market, it does feel quite nice. Okay, another mass market. This is the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. This is by Kelly Sullivan Walden and artwork by Rasuli. So this is a Blue Angel deck. So it comes in like this weird, like the box is too big. Those are the backs. And again, look, we're still in order. So obviously I haven't used this at all. I love Rasuli's artwork. I think it's stunning. And looking at it, I'm like, oh, why haven't I pulled this out? Well, so maybe you are invited. Suit up, show up, and open up. It is definitely like hitting all the boxes in terms of what I like to see in an oracle. A little bit more abstract in the art than what I typically like, even though it's still gorgeous. And it seems like as I'm reading through these, they're very like positive, like almost like positive affirmations almost. So I might give this one a go, and then we'll see if it's going to leave my collection or not. Whale of a Time, your charge is to enlarge. So it's almost kind of cheeky, like as I'm reading some of these, like, yeah, dream redirection, redream this situation. Yeah, remember, you signed up for this. Yes, this is, you know, I obviously have not spent like any time really looking at this, and I wonder how much, like when I picked this deck out, I think I was looking more at the artwork than I was at the actual like titles and phrases here. Discover your superpower, access 100% of your mojo. So it does seem kind of more on the modern side, which like very approachable, almost like as, you know, if you go to a friend and ask for advice, And they're just like, girl, like, like deal with it kind of. So that I'm liking that actually. So this, I think I'm going to give it a go before I say one way or another if it's going to leave or stay. So that is the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. So that'll go in the stay pile for now anyway. All right, next deck we're going to look at is the Into the Lonely Woods Oracle. So this is by Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Dan May. Nice little write-ups for each card there. This one is not going anywhere. I haven't used this in a while, but I do like it. And I think that now is the time for me to be pulling this out. So we've got, instead of just a keyword, it's actually like a little phrase. And these are just adorable. Yeah, like I said, I feel like I'm just really in a place where I think I could benefit from pulling this deck out. I've got the anniversaries of some deaths coming up. So, you know, I'll be dealing with that in the next couple months. And it's given me like the fall cozy vibes as well. So yes, I do like the production quality of this deck. Like, I think it's a laminated deck. So it's Blue Angel, I think. And it's just, you know, they're big, but they're fairly bendy. Like, I would just be overhanding this deck. But I was thinking before I started like recording like earlier today, I was like, okay, so just out of curiosity, like what in my brain am I thinking that I'm probably going to be letting go of? And this one popped into my head as like, oh, you should actually use that. Because it did, when I've used it in the past, it has given me some really nice readings. So this one definitely not going anywhere. It is one that I will for sure be pulling out soon. I have done like a nice, I don't know if it's nice, but I've edged the backs to try and match, or edged the edges, colored the edges to try and match the green on the backs. Just such a lovely, simple design too for this. Like I really enjoy the backs on that deck. Usually for me, the simpler the better is what I find. All right, 2 more to go here. So we have the Archaeology Oracle deck by Ashley Stinson. This is a really unique deck. I only used it a little bit. Look at how gorgeous this is. So this gives you a preview of what the artwork is like. But this is, there's just a lot in this guidebook that I think is really excellent. I'm not a fan of the box that this comes in. I thought it was cool when I got it and then realized, oh, it's not the greatest because the top, it comes off quite easily. So if you were to like drop it, it would like fall off and then all of the cards would come flying out. But we have a beautiful back. And then these are the fronts, and also like kind of like a champagne color on the edges there. So this is working with energy within your body. So, a keyword is assigned to certain bones in the body. So for your occipital lobe, we have dreaming. For your humerus and the femurs, integrating. For teeth, wisdom. Which this, I won't lie, I think what was it? Oh, I remember I was like, there was something about this card that always bothered me. And I'm like, it was something about the teeth themselves. And now I was like, what was that? And I'm like, oh, it's just how the teeth are depicted. So I work in dental. So this is, yeah. So this is showing that your second premolar on the mandible has like the longest root. And that is so inaccurate. The longest roots in your mouth are your eye teeth actually. And that's why they're called that, because the roots tend to go right up below your eye. So that's always annoyed me about that, but you know, it's just a rendering, right? But this is so cool. So your orbital, so around your eyes here. So that's kind of what it's depicting here but then she's got the owl there. I think it's just really cool. Mandible allowing. So we've got the teeth here and the mandible bone. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if this is available anymore, but I think she's doing like a newer updated version, and I believe it's going to be called something else as well. So this is like, you know, for sure, if you experience like chronic pain or something like that, like have issues with your physical body, I think this would be a really cool deck to use. I haven't used this in a very long time. This one I think I will be keeping though for now. Because I think it's almost just kind of like a handy tool to have, even if you don't, I mean, it's good if you don't have to use it. But yeah, so it'll be staying for now. So that's the Energy Archaeology Oracle deck. And then the last deck that I have to show you in my Oracle collection, and hopefully I haven't forgotten any, but this is the Femfolk Oracle Guidebook. So this is by Annette Pearso and Israel Gonzalez. So this is an oracle that features goddesses. And it is like, it's not officially like the companion to the A Candle in the Cave, but it is the same artist and same kind of like production design. So we still do have like that dark, like deep chocolatey brown color. And then we have a featured goddess on each of the cards. And what I do like about this is that the goddess is actually, the name is very small, excuse me, but the keyword is actually quite large. And so that's really the focus of the card, is the keyword, not, you know, necessarily the goddess itself, herself or their self. But there's tons of goddesses in here, and lots of them I have never even heard of, lots that I have no idea how to pronounce. Goddesses across all different spiritualities, religions, cultures. And it's just, yeah, it's beautiful. I talked about this in my last video. Annette Pearso, her artwork is just so gorgeous. You can, if you go to her website too, she actually does produce like actual like statues or statuettes of certain goddesses. And I just think it would be really cool. I mean, they're quite expensive, like especially to like ship to Canada and stuff, because, you know, they're heavy, they're metal. And I mean, they're not cheap to begin with, but, you know, if you're someone who likes to have like an altar and you work with a specific deity, that would be a really cool thing to have. The guidebook, the writing is a little bit on the smaller side, but it's actually, I don't think it's too bad, but some might find it a little small. So yeah. So that is the Femfolk Oracle Guide, Femfolk Oracle. And that brings us to the end of my Oracle collection. So obviously this one's not going anywhere. I do have like a decent pile, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then these guys that I'll group as like a group of 3. So kind of 7 that I'm planning on probably rehoming. And that's, you know, more than I was expecting. There were a couple little surprises in there. Yeah, but that was fairly productive. And then again, you know, I've got more sitting beside me that I was like, maybe I'll use this first before I actually make the decision to get rid of it. So that will be happening. So there probably will be more that are going to go. I'm not in the place where I can make that decision right at this moment. I want to maybe try them out a little bit first. So thanks for sticking around, guys. Apologies, I did have some issues with filming where my phone kind of kept popping up with a message saying you've run out of space to record. And so I hopefully will have managed to splice together these different recordings so that it's still fairly seamless. I'm be honest, if I didn't get so far into this video, I would have stopped it and re-recorded, but we were already so far into it. So this will be a learning curve for me for figuring out how to splice together videos. So hopefully that goes okay and that I don't give up midway, because I don't really want to have to re-record this. So yes, thanks for hanging out. And let me know, any decks that you've got and you like, or, if there's some that I'm planning on getting rid of, and you're like, I would be kind of interested in that. I don't think, I'll go through them again, like I said, at the end of, once we've gone through all of my decks, we'll talk about the ones that I am planning on getting rid of. And at that point, if there are any that you're interested in, you can let me know. But I will say, anything that's mass market, I'm not going to ship across borders because that would be crazy. And, shipping to the US right now, it's not the easiest, but I have done it for one person and kind of figured out what needs to be done. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to ship to the States. So, all right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, wherever you're at, and we will see you again. Bye, guys.